Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post these things up when I get the chance. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They have 40,000 therapists working for them. They are international. They are master's level and PhD level. You'll go online, you'll fill out some questions, and they will place you with a qualified therapist in your area. And they do chat, they do email, they do texting, they do online, they do, everything. So there you go. All right. So thank you. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Hello, everyone. Okay. So a couple of updates. I did finally post the first part of my Iceland trip on We Need to Have Fun with Chris Godinez. I'm wearing my Iceland shirt today. So if you want to see what Iceland looks like, you can go over there. I just posted one video. It's like 5 minutes long. So I'm going to get the other videos up as I go through the week. There is that. So current events. Okay. So I don't know if you remember the case of the woman in France whose husband drugged her and then advertised online for men to come and have sex with her while she was completely out of it. So the daughter has come out now and suspects that she too was victimized in that way. There, as far as I know, there isn't any video evidence, but they did come across several pictures of her in an unconscious state in various states of undress. So it really is not too far to think that, the husband would do this to the wife. Not that great of a leap to believe that he would do it to the daughter too. So trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Basically, when you get to a dark triad, narcissist, psychopath, control freak, they view people as objects. I don't have a pen near me, but I have chapstick. So they view people as objects to be used. And when that object loses its usefulness, they toss it. So it's not uncommon for dark triads to do incest or to, farm their child out for sex or to whatever, because they don't view their children as sentient human beings. They don't view animals as sentient beings either, but they don't view their children as sentient beings. And so to them, there's something that to be used, that they can use however they want. And they have no problem with that. So she wrote a book called I'll Never Call You Father Again, or I'll Never Call You Dad Again. Let me see if I can find the title of that. I'll Never Call Him Dad Again. Giselle Pellicot's daughter says she suspects her father also drugged her for sexual abuse. That was on CNN. I'm not surprised hearing that. I'm saddened hearing that, but I am definitely not surprised because that's just what dark triads do. They do not view their targets as human beings. They dehumanize them in their own minds, and they justify it in their own minds. Well, it's my daughter. I can do whatever I want. I own her. That's the attitude. And they have the same attitude towards sons. So I want to make very clear, this is not just one sex or the other. It's like a dark triad will sexually abuse, if they can get away with it, their sons, their daughters, their spouses, their, whoever, because they're dark triads, guides. Maybe that's what I need to talk about at some point. Okay. You know what? Next week, I was going to talk about extortion and blackmail, but I think before I do extortion and blackmail, I really want to explain what a dark triad is, what antisocial is, what narcissistic is, what Machiavellian is, so you understand the mindset of these wackadoodles, so you know why they're doing what they're doing. So often I have people come to me and say things like, I don't understand. How could they possibly? Let me tell you about their mind. It's a black abyss. It's a black seething abyss of insanity. And you kind of have to understand that it does not excuse it, but it certainly explains it. You can kind of see where their quote unquote logic is going. And it's illogical, to be sure, but it's psychopathic, So next week, let's talk about dark triads. So that's the topic next week. And then the weekend after that, I want to talk about all the ways they extort us, all the ways they do blackmail on us to try to force us to stay in the relationship. Unfortunately, that seems to be making a comeback. So, all right. So that is that. Today, however, I want to talk about what are the green flags? What are the healthy habits? What are things that we should be looking for in a healthy relationship? What does that look like? Because I don't think we talk enough about that because we're so focused on, what's going on and how to protect ourselves and how to stay safe. So, first of all, I want to start with healthy habits. 7 healthy habits for our self well-being. So, basically, we must be conscious. We must be mindful of our body, our mind, our spirit, the whole thing. So, things that are going to support us are, in no particular order, health. What is your health like? How are you taking care of yourself, both mental health and physical health and spiritual health? What are you doing to feed your body, your mind, and your soul? What are you doing to be healthy? So that includes, it's basically everything. It's okay, physically, are you getting enough sleep? Are you doing good sleep hygiene? What does good sleep hygiene look like? I think a lot of us that were raised by narcissists, and I know this is true of myself and my sisters, we were night owls. We loved staying up all night because it was quiet. It was quiet. We could do things uninterrupted. We could read uninterrupted. If my dad was around, he'd interrupt us all the time and demand that we go out and pick up sticks because he was crazy. But we would get interrupted. We could never do an art project or read or watch a movie or what. He'd always come barging in and interrupt and demand we pay attention to him and this, that, and the other thing. So a lot of us that were raised by abusers are night owls. I'm not a night owl anymore. Dear God, I'm in bed by like 8. Dear God. Anyway, but the point being is that I would stay up all night to avoid him and I'd sleep all day. Oh my God, he had such a fit if I did that on a weekend. Even though it was my weekend, he would demand that I be up when he was up and I was doing what he wanted to do and, all of that stuff. So I think a lot of us got into some really bad habits. Another thing that we do when we're sleeping is we tend to need to have white noise or some sort of noise going on. You don't want to do that, especially if you've got your TV tuned to a channel and let's say, for example, you're on a channel or you're streaming something and then, the YouTube channel goes to something else and it's something not good. We're constantly kind of listening with our subconscious. So you want to be very careful of that. White noise is fine. White noise is fine if you've got a white noise machine or you're listening to the ocean or things like that. But if you've just got a TV on, be very careful of what channel you've got it tuned to. I've had a couple of clients be like, oh my God, I woke up and it was a horror movie playing. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. Don't do that. So, all right. So there is that. The nights were safe. The nights were safe because the abuser was asleep and you could do whatever you wanted to, meaning read a book, watch a movie, do arts and crafts, do whatever you wanted to do that they would constantly interrupt. So sleep habits. So getting back into a really good sleep habit is really important. Waking up at the same time every day. I wake up probably at 6:30 on the weekends and weekdays, usually a little earlier on the weekdays. And of course, in the summertime, all bets are off because Lucky gets up when the sun gets up. So that's probably about 5. And I usually go to bed by about 8:30, something like that, sometimes 9. That's probably the latest. But you want to get into a habit of same time waking up, same time going to sleep, same time waking up, same time going to sleep. Just good sleep hygiene. Also, is your bed comfortable? Are your sheets comfortable? There is nothing worse than climbing into a bed where you got those sheets, they're really rough and they're not comfortable and they've got little balls of threads and things like that. No, you're not going to sleep well. Make sure the temperature is comfortable. I don't know about you guys, but John and I like to sleep cold because it's nice to snuggle down in the blankets and have coolness, rather than it's too hot and you're constantly throwing off comforters and throwing them on and throwing them off and throwing them on. So make sure the temperature of your room is comfortable. Make sure that your bedroom is used for sleep and sex, and that is it. Because if you're doing other things in your bedroom, your mind is going to attach the other things to, oh, I'm in here to work. Oh, I'm in here to do this. Oh, I'm in here to do that, as opposed to I'm in here to rest. So be very mindful of that. If you get insomnia, which it happens to the best of us, you get insomnia, you just can't go to sleep. So let's say you're tossing and turning and you're looking at the clock because that's what we all do. Toss, turn, look at the clock, toss, turn, look at the clock. If you're doing that for 20 minutes, stop, get up. Get up, go to another room, grab a notepad, write whatever's on your mind. There's obviously something that's keeping you up. So journal, just get it out of your head, get it onto paper. And when you've done that and you feel like, maybe I can go to sleep, then go try again. But if you don't fall asleep within 15 minutes, get back up, go out in another room, read a book, do whatever you need to, kind of thing. So there is that. So sleep hygiene, hugely important. Okay, 7 habits of healthy people. Healthy self-talk. Dun, dun, dun. What do I push all the time? What are you saying to yourself? Are you kind? Are you nice to you? Or are you beating the living crap out of yourself? Stop. Please stop. Please be kind to you. Please be mindful of what you are saying. You want that inner cheerleader. Hey, good job. Keep going. Everything's fine. Oops, you screwed up. Okay. Forgive yourself. Make amends. Okay, good. You did. Okay, now forgive yourself. Now move on. Okay, that's what you want. You do not want the, oh my God, why did you say that? Why did you do that? You're so stupid. Yeah, I swear to God, if that does that, thank you for your input. Shut the bleep up. Why? Because you say so. I am not stupid. I may have done the wrong thing. I will make amends for it. And I forgive myself. And I'm moving on. And I'm turning off the sound. Did a bit. There it is. Do you see where I'm going with that? So be aware of what you are saying to yourself. If you start feeling like doo-doo for no apparent reason, what were you just thinking about? What were you telling yourself about you? That's what we tend to do, is we tend to say something really horrible and we're not even really aware of it because we're not conscious of that inner critic and that inner cheerleader. And so the inner critic says something really nasty. And then about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later, we're like, oh God, I'm so dumb. Why did I do that? Wait a minute. Where did that? Oh, you again, excuse me, just getting over a cold. Blah. Anyway, so be conscious of yourself. Oh my goodness, sneeze. Stop it. What was I saying? Be conscious of your self-talk. Be conscious of what you say to yourself. Please excuse me while I blow my nose. I hate colds. Excuse me, I really do. Anyway, they're only good for killing Martians. Anyway, the point being, self-talk. What are you saying to yourself? Are you nice to you or are you mean to you? And if you are mean to you, please stop. Please be nice to you. We get into this habit of, when we're with an abuser, of adopting their nastiness, their meanness, their abuse of us. And it was in a way it's the inner child's way of trying to stay safe. So if we agree with our abuser, if we're siding with the abuser, we're beating ourselves up before they can beat us up. So maybe they won't beat us up. But now that we're away from the abuser, you got to be very careful of doing that. Don't do that. You don't need to do that. So please be mindful. What are you saying to yourself? Self-talk, is it healthy or is it mean? And if it's mean, work on it. Self-esteem workbook, Lynn Schiraldi. Physical activity, exercise is hugely important. I can't stress this enough. My family was so weird. If I wanted to run out and go play, my mom would pull me off track and pull me inside the house and demand I do something sedentary, which I never understood, excuse me, until I realized competition of weight, competition of looking good, competition of staying thin. Everything's a competition to disordered people. Now, my mom was not a narcissist, but she had strong traits of borderline personality disorder. Her mother was definitely a freaking narcissist. My dad was definitely both narcissistic and borderline. So cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Anyway, so physical activity, they stop us from being physically active. Or they use physical activity as a punishment. And then we get to the point where we're like, oh my God, I don't want to exercise. It's a punishment. How many of us were in elementary school and we had one of those gym coaches that was like, drop and give me 20, or you need to go run a mile or whatever. And I'm just like, oh my God. Exercise should be fun, guys. Take back your power with the exercise. Exercise should be fun. I work out twice a week at a gym with a trainer. They're awesome and they make it fun. And they do it so that it's like you feel accomplished and you know you're gaining muscle, and you know you're having fun, and you have good conversations. So that's what you want. That's the way exercise should be. Going for a walk should be a joyous event. It should be like, wow, I'm out in the sunshine with my dog. This is cool. Look at the trees. Listen to the birds. Wow, feel the breeze. This is awesome. Being in the moment. That's what it's all about. All of this is all about being in the moment. Push your body. Have fun with your body. Dance. I throw on music, usually 80s, because, kid of the 80s. And I dance for like an hour. And it's great. It's aerobic exercise. Aerobic exercise doesn't have to be, in a gym. Okay, guys, come on. Let's, step on the step. No, you can just throw on some music and dance. Just do that. Move your body. Bodies were meant to move. We were meant to be hunters and gatherers. We were not meant to sit in a cubicle for 8 hours a day. This is why I never did well in the corporate world. I couldn't stand it. It's like, why am I sitting in a cubicle with no windows? Anyway, the point being is move your body. That's good, healthy habits. Stretch in the morning. First thing, stretch your arms, stretch your legs, do some side bends, do some, move, get your body moving. It's healthy. So this is also going to play into relationships. You want somebody who's doing the same damn things, that has got good sleep habits, that his self-talk is really healthy, that exercises, but not a somatic narcissist. So hold on that. Let me talk about that for a second. A somatic narcissist is one who's all about the physical, right? They have to be perfect. Their hair has to be perfect. Their body has to be perfect. And they hyper-focus on having the perfect body. You do not want to date that. Trust me. So you want somebody who is physically fit, somebody who's healthy, who's moving, who's interested in walking and doing things, but not somebody who is a somatic narcissist and all they care about is what they look like. No extremes here, people. We're heading for the middle path. Does that make sense? Okay, on to the next one. Okay, in relationships. All right, so now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. What are their relationships like? Do they have friends? Do you have friends? Are you able to maintain healthy relationships? So let's talk about healthy relationships. As we get healthier, as we work on our self-esteem, as we work on our boundaries, facing codependency, PMLD, Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker, Self-Esteem Workbook, Lynn Schiraldi, CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving, Pete Walker, all of these books, as we start working on ourselves, we start realizing that a lot of the people that we hung out with were not healthy. They were familiar, but they weren't healthy. And so we kind of let them kind of drift away. That's normal. What you want to do is you want to start filling up your closet with healthy friends. So and I say closet because I liken it to cleaning out a closet. So, when you do spring cleaning, you get rid of clothes that are old, don't fit, have holes in them, etc. And when you start filling your friend closet back up, these people are healthy. They have good relationships. They're kind. They're supportive. They're gentle. They're kind. They're nice. They're, self-aware. What's so funny is this was fine until I got on air and then it started. Anyway, so you want somebody who understands a relationship. So what is important in your relationships? Respect. Respect is the most important thing. And that is something that narcissists and abusers cannot do. They would not understand respect if it walked up and did the Watusi with them. So respect. What does respect mean to you? Well, it means being filled with integrity. What you say is what you mean, okay? None of this do as I say, not as I do, bull tinky, which is what abusers do. So integrity, they're truthful, they're honest, they're open, they've got good communication skills. They use I statements. They are able to talk and discuss issues without having it be a fight. You can have disagreements, but it's different than having a fight, because a fight means somebody's trying to be right. And if you're in it to win it, you've already lost the relationship. So you want somebody who's mindful of not doing the you guns. If there is an issue, it needs to be I feel sad, hurt, angry when this behavior happens. As opposed to, you always do this, you always do that. Blame. Okay. Narcissists love to blame, and they'll do it preemptively. So something happens that has nothing to do with them, and they'll immediately start pointing fingers because they don't want to be it. You know what I'm saying? And they can't take responsibility for a damn thing. So you want somebody who does not play the blame game. You want somebody who is emotionally available. You want somebody who is emotionally aware, somebody who is responsible, who will take responsibility for their actions. So now, like, if they did do something and it was on them, they should be able to go, yo, my bad. Clean up on aisle 5. I need to fix this. Okay. A narcissist will never do that. A narcissist will do, well, you made me. You made me. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry you. You need somebody who can do an honest apology and who means it and who is trustworthy. So their behaviors, their actions, and their words match. There's no lying, because if there's lying, actions and words don't match. There's no gaslighting. There's no, rewriting history. There's no, it's the polar opposite of your deal breakers. So your deal makers are somebody who's truthful, filled with integrity, is happy for the most part. I mean, appropriate emotions, emotionally available, honest, good communicator. Those are all green flags. So those are things you want to look for. And those are things that we need to practice as well in order to be in a good relationship with ourselves and in a good relationship with anybody else, whether that's a romantic relationship, a friend relationship, family, whatever. So, and that also means good boundaries. And that also means standing up for yourself. So if somebody is trying to do the whole gaslighting, mowing over boundaries, you're going to have to stand up and be like, mother clucker, I see you coming. Hit the road, Jack. Not playing. Not going to happen. Have a nice day. So yeah, standing up for yourself is a really good sign for yourself and for a potential partner. Okay, hold on while I look at the rest of the list. Hold on. Okay. Nutrition. So we kind of talked about that. So somebody who is willing to take good care of their bodies. So nutrition does not mean you have to be like, a health nut or anything like that, but it means somebody who is not eating junk food all the time, not filling their bodies full of crap, somebody who is eating clean, basically, the way we should have been eating forever and a day until we became industrialized. So, somebody who eats plenty of vegetables, gets enough fruits, drinks plenty of water. That should be us too. Somebody who's cognizant of what works with our body and what doesn't work for our body. So, as I've been getting healthier mentally, physically, emotionally, and otherwise, I've been discovering a lot about my food that was influenced by my dad and my mom that I've had to change over the years, because they fed us nothing but sugar. They fed us nothing but carbs. They fed us nothing but, things that were really fried food all the time. So, getting into a healthy habit of eating fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, getting enough protein, especially if you're working out, drinking enough water. None of us drink enough water, especially in the desert here. It's so freaking dry. I don't think we've had rain for like 140 days, something like that. It's crazy. So it's super dry. So you want to be drinking at least 90 ounces of water a day, especially if you're in a very dry environment. And I don't think a lot of us do that. And you want to be very careful about what kind of water you're drinking. So for me, I just found out recently that the reverse osmosis water that we have in our house takes out all the minerals. And my body was not responding well to that. It needed the minerals in the water. So we're having to put the minerals back in, the good stuff, not the crap from the Salt River. But, so you got to listen to your body and you got to pay attention to it and you've got to take care of it. This is a magnificent machine that gets us through life and helps us do fun things. And you want somebody who appreciates that and appreciates their own body and appreciates your body and wants you to be healthy and does not sabotage. Let's talk about that. How many times have we been in a relationship, either a familial relationship or a romantic relationship, where the person who is disordered sabotages you? shoves candies and cookies at you, or shoves unhealthy food at you and demands that you eat it. That happens a lot with abusers. They do that, especially if their partner has got any sort of health issue, like if they're diabetic, they'll shove candy and alcohol and all the carbs and all this, that, and the other thing. So you want to be very cognizant of, are they watching out for their own health? And are they watching out for your health as well? I mean, it's your responsibility, but it's really nice to have a partner that's willing to go, hey, I'm concerned, we are eating a lot of carbs. Maybe we should check to see how many carbs we're getting a day and make sure it's within the healthy range. That's cool. Now, you don't want somebody who's controlling what you eat either. So again, balance, middle path, not one extreme, not the other, because abusers will do that as well. So somebody who is logical, reasonable, concerned about your health, concerned about their health, but doesn't use that as the excuse to abuse. Does that make sense? So there's that. Okay. What did I do with my glasses? Oh my God. Okay. Goal setting. Okay. So there's goals. So, it's not just you're just bebopping along and there's no goals in the relationship or personal goals. So, and it's not like you have to have goals every single day, but it's nice to have something to work towards. So for me and John, our goal is to retire comfortably. That's because I'm getting to that age. So, and we like to travel. So that's our goal. That's what we're working towards, and and being able to travel with the kids and be physically fit as long as we can, because we want to be able to go do these adventures with the great grandkids, or not great grandkids, but great grandnephews, and their kids, and all that sort of stuff. I don't want to be one of those people or one of those couples that's physically hobbled and can't go do anything because they didn't take care of themselves. So you want to make sure that you have goals, and that's a pretty good goal, is being physically fit. I basically want to slide into home plate and then exit stage left, having an amazing life. That's my goal. You know what I'm saying? So, so having goals and having a partner who supports your goals. So say, for example, you're wanting to go back to college. They should be supportive of that, and come up with ways to make it happen. And that's important, or you want to change careers. That's important to have that supported, and vice versa. So you want somebody who is supportive and who can help you brainstorm and maybe find ways to make this goal a reality. And that's important. You don't want future faking, though. So what I see a lot of abusers do is they'll dangle this future out in front, but they never do anything to make that future happen. But they'll talk about it as if it's real, but it never happens. And there's never any steps to get to that goal or to get to that future. So you want to be very, very careful of future faking. If they're future faking, they'll be saying all the pretty words, but the actions won't match, which is, again, lying. Let's be clear here. So if they're supporting you and there is a future goal out there, they're going to be helping you take the steps to get to that future goal. It's not just going to be like, oh, let's talk about this future goal and never do anything to get there. Does that make sense? So again, words and actions have to match. If they do not, they are lying. Boom. There it is. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're good. Okay. Stress management and coping. Okay. Super important that we ourselves work on our stress management and coping skills, because life is going to throw you some wild curveballs. It is. And having coping skills is really important. Having a partner that also has good coping skills is really important. The beautiful thing about John and I is that he can calm me down if I'm having a really hard time emotionally regulating because something has thrown me off track. Usually me watching the news, but so the point being is, it's really nice to have a partner that can be like, okay, breathe, take a deep breath. You're safe. You're okay. Everything's fine. Of course, it is my responsibility to get that emotional regulation going, but it's beautiful to be able to help each other. And I can help him do that when he gets stuck, and he helps me do that when I get stuck. So it's a really good thing. So good stress coping skills. What are your stress coping skills? How do you deal with stress? How do you calm yourself down? How do you get back to emotional regulation? Hugely important. That's a personal, that's a mindfulness thing. That's a, how do we do this for ourselves? And also we want a partner that does that for themselves and that can help us and we can help them. Because remember, it's a partnership. Y'all are helping each other. You're just walking each other home. That's what you're doing. So that's what you want to look for. So those are the 7 healthy habits that was on Psychology Today. Green flags in a relationship. And I just looked this up on Google. Boundaries, good communication skills, mutual respect. Love is basically respect. Respect is basically love. If you love someone, you respect them. If you respect them, you generally love them. So respect, you don't disrespect the person you're with. I cannot tell you how awful doing couples counseling was when I used to do couples counseling, because people would wait until it was too late, and or the person they were with was absolutely disordered, and they'd come in and it was just name calling. I just, the names that the abusers would call their target. I wouldn't do, well, maybe I would do that to my worst enemy, but I certainly wouldn't do that to somebody who was my partner. It's like, I'm sorry, those words are not words of love. Those are hurtful, so you want somebody who is respectful, who does not call names, who does not disrespect you, who respects your boundaries, who understands or seeks to understand where you're coming from, and you seek to understand where they're coming from. It's a mutual respect. It's not, one person has the power and the other one doesn't. It's a mutual thing. So that's what you want to look for. Okay. Back to this. I can get rid of that one. There we go. Emotional safety and trust. You feel safe with them. That is huge. Something I always tell people, it's like, if you're in a relationship and you're getting the butterflies, this is a brand new relationship and you're getting the butterflies, you may want to check it before you wreck it. Because generally the butterflies means that this relationship reminds you of a family of origin relationship or a previous relationship with an abuser. So just be very careful. If you're getting butterflies, it's generally because they're doing the intermittent positive rewards. I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you. Oh, they love me now. Okay, it's good. Be careful of that. So you want something that's consistent. It's not a guessing game. You're not sitting there going, do they love me? I don't know. I don't know. Do they love me? I don't know. You don't want that. You want something that is secure and emotionally safe and physically safe and religiously safe and everything else. And it's a part of respect again. So yeah, you need to feel safe. Okay. And trust. They don't cheat. You trust each other. There's equality. You have shared values. Oh my God, so important. So something I see especially younger people do is they'll get involved in a relationship, and because there's codependency going on, they are willing to let go of things that are very, very, very important to them. And then later on, they realize, I shouldn't have let go of that. That's something I really wanted. So one of those things, 2 of those things is getting married. Some people don't care whether they get married or not. Other people care very much whether they get married or not. And so if you get with somebody who does not want to get married and you do, and they're sticking to their guns of not getting married, but you really want to get married, you need to find a different relationship. Or if you want kids and they don't, or vice versa, you don't want kids and they do, you need to find a different relationship, because I can guarantee you're going to resent the hell out of them if you don't follow through with what you are knowing that is true for you. So you must be true to yourself. You must be true to yourself. And even though it's sad, and even though you have to let go of that relationship and they have all the other qualities, those are deal breakers, guys. Because if you give up on something that's important to you, I can guarantee you 20 years down the line, you're going to be very resentful. I saw it all the time. So you don't want to give in on things that you know are true for you. If you want kids, then you need to find somebody that wants to have kids. If you don't want kids, you need to find somebody that does not want to have children. If you want to get married, you need to find somebody that actually wants to get married. If you don't want to get married, then you need to find somebody that doesn't care about marriage. Do you see where I'm going with that? And I think a lot of times people get involved in the relationships and they tell themselves this lie, I can change them. I can change their mind. No, you can't. Not going to happen. So that's why these things need to be talked about before you get seriously involved. It's like, well, what's your opinion? Now, realize abusers will lie. Abusers will say, oh, of course I want kids, or of course I don't want kids, or of course I want to get married, or of course I don't want to get married. But you got to watch for their other behavior, you know? So that's why I'm saying it's like you don't want to dive into relationships. Good relationships take time. They need time to grow. You need time to see the person, see their behavior, listen to their words, see if they match. Put them in situations where it could be stressful. One way to know how you're going to get along with somebody or not is to travel with them. Good thing John and I really like each other because it can be stressful. Traveling can be stressful. Things don't always go right. You darn straight. But if you've got a couple that's committed to themselves, first and foremost, and committed to each other, it's not that stressful. But if you've got somebody who's personality disordered and they say all the pretty words, but boy, howdy, their behavior is ugly, you may want to get out of that relationship. Does that make sense? So, okay, back to the list. Excuse me. Okay, and then I'm going to get to the questions. I know I'm going over time, but that's okay. Shared values, you feel good around them. They apologize when they are wrong. They make amends. You can be yourself. You don't have to pretend to be anything. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to wear makeup. You don't have to whatever. They are empathic. They are feeling. They feel. They are emotionally available. They know what they want. They're good at conflict resolution. They make you feel comfortable. They bring out your green flags. They bring out the best in you. They bring out the real you. That's what you want. Humor, laughter, joy, intellectual conversations, excitement. That's real. That's who you really are. Abusers want us to be this, whatever they want, you know? Yeah, we have to be happy. No, if something's not good, your partner's going to be like, yeah, you're right. This sucks. It's okay. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be sad. It's okay. It's okay. Hello. You know, no, they don't do what an abuser does, which is you have to feel exactly the way I'm feeling. Because they're douchebags. Anyway. Okay. So, laughter, hugely important. Having a good sense of humor, especially about yourself. Abusers do not. Abusers take themselves very seriously. They do. They don't ever do anything wrong. They never admit when they're wrong. They have no sense of humor about themselves. If they do have a sense of humor, it's very snarky, it's very nasty, and it's generally at somebody else's expense. That is not okay. You want to watch out for that. If they're snarky, sarcastic, it's at somebody else's expense, they're making fun of somebody else, that is not a good person. This is somebody you do not want to be around. All right. So green flags in a relationship. Okay. They are good listeners. They listen. They can reflect back what you've said to them so that you know you're being heard. They are good at naming emotions, emotionally available. They have compatible goals. We talked about that. Self-awareness. They are aware of their foibles. They're aware of their behavior, and they, make amends and do what they need to do. You both have your own lives. Oh my God, so important. Have your own friends, have your own lives, have your own hobbies. You don't have to do everything together. You can if you want, but it's good to have your own thing. So for example, John is mathematical genius, engineering, software engineer. I don't understand it. That's not my thing. My hobbies are more along the lines of reading up on serial killers, abnormal psychology, things like that, because I find it fascinating. That's not his thing, and I don't expect it to be his thing. And he doesn't expect me to become a mathematical genius because, not happening. So you have your own lives. You have your own likes. You have your own dislikes, and it's okay. And they're okay with it. And you're okay with that. You don't have to do everything together all the time. You don't have to. They encourage personal growth. They want you to grow. They want you to do what makes you sing. They want you to, explore and expand and always be growing and always, that's a hugely important thing. The worst relationships I see is where the couples are disordered and they stop each other from growing and they're more interested in controlling each other than they are in having their own lives. No bueno. Somebody who's interested in outside control is out of control in here. So that's, a healthy relationship. They want you to grow. They're excited to hear what you're learning and what's going on and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What's gone on in your day, that kind of thing. They're excited about it. So there's that. All right. And then the last one is boop, honesty. So honesty, hugely important in a relationship that goes along with trust and respect. So you want somebody who's honest. You want somebody who's going to speak the truth. They're not just going to be like, well, how is everything? Fine. And when somebody tells me fine, I'm like, okay, is that a counselor's fine or is that a really you're okay fine? So a counselor's fine is effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. That's what fine stands for. And generally, when people tell me they're fine, that's usually what's going on, especially when I call them out for it. So you want somebody who's going to be honest. It's like, no, I'm not okay. Things are not good. I'm struggling. I need help. That's what you want. Or you want somebody who's like, hey, actually, you know what? Things are going pretty good. And they are. You want somebody who's honest. Okay. And of course, you temper that with who your audience is. If I'm in a room full of enemies, I'm not going to tell them diddly squat. But, everything's good. But if I'm with a room full of friends, yeah, I'll be honest, So, but they need to be honest with you. Does that make sense? Because if you're in a relationship, honesty is hugely important. Integrity is hugely important. Words and actions matching, hugely important. So those are all of the green flags for yourself and in a relationship. I hope that was helpful. Let me get to the questions. Okay. Is going to sleep, waking up later a problem in itself if you're on a regular schedule? No, if you're on a regular schedule, it's fine. I think the biggest thing where people get screwed up is when their schedules are constantly switching. So third shift, graveyard, and then they switch them to morning shift. Oh my God, the physical things that happen to them, not good. So you want to be consistent. Whether you're a late sleeper and a late waker, or if you're an early sleeper and an early waker, you want to kind of keep it consistent. And naps are hugely important to talk about as well. When you lay down for a nap, you really don't want to nap more than maybe 20 to 30 minutes, because otherwise you start going into a REM cycle and it'll just screw you up. So be cognizant of that. Be cognizant of your sleep. And if you're needing naps during the day, then that says to me you're either not getting good sleep at night or there is some vitamin, mineral, etc. going on missing in your body, and you might want to take a look at your health. So generally, when I'm eating right and I'm, got the right vitamins and minerals and everything is going good, I don't generally need naps unless, caveat, I haven't slept well the night before, or there's been a lot of physical, you're working out really heavy duty, you're doing a lot of walking, you're doing this, doing that. I can understand that. So, but if you're in good health and you're suddenly needing naps and that's not your norm, you might want to get with a naturopath or doctor and get that checked out. Okay. I think, are there any other questions or is that it? That appears to be it. Okay. Let me double check that. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. All right. So next week, I want to go back through what a dark triad is and how each of those things affect the target of abuse. Because then the week after that, I want to talk about the sneaky little things that they do to try to keep us stuck with them. So blackmail, extortion, things like that, which by the way are illegal. Just pointing that out. But so I want to talk about dark triads. I want to talk about narcissism. I'm going to go back through what exactly is narcissism. I'm going to go back through what is antisocial, because that's sociopath, psychopath. And what is a control freak? What is Machiavellianism? What does that look like? So I want to go through all of that. And then we're going to talk the next week about blackmail and extortion, because they do that. So, all right, my loves, you guys go have a great week. Please drink plenty of water, get some exercise, eat healthy. Love your body. Love your body. Thank your body for getting you through this life. I don't think we give our bodies enough credit because they're amazing. So anyway, go be awesome. And I will talk to you next Sunday. And if you're interested in looking at Iceland, I have it up on We Need to Have Fun. with Chris Godinez. I'm going to be putting more videos and pictures and stuff up. I haven't had a chance. I got the one video up, but I'll get more up this week. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.